Hello everybody, Coolhound Luke's here. Welcome to another video. Today I am going to be covering the best star card setups for the base classes. In a previous video I already covered the heroes, and now I'm going to be covering the other classes here. For the four base classes, I will also be covering what I think is the best weapon for each of them. So, starting off with the Assault. This is definitely the class that I've used the most. I am max level with it, and in my opinion, the best combination that I found is definitely Assault Training matched up with Toughen Up, and then also the third star card. I've swapped around a bit. I have used Killstreak Vanguard, and I also have used Bounty Hunter as well. But Assault Training is definitely a star card that you're going to want to use. It allows you to gain a small amount of health for each defeated enemy. This will be able to allow you to stay alive for longer. The Toughen Up does the same thing. It regenerates your health while this ability is active. It's essentially like a health stim, and it actively regenerates your health after using this ability. So these two are essentially a must with the Assault. Third star card, it's a bit more up to you. At the moment I'm using Improved Thermal Detonator, but if I wanted to use this class and go and get a lot of battle points and go for heroes, using Bounty Hunter is a must. In terms of the weapon, I particularly like the A280. Mainly because it's a burst weapon with really good accuracy, and if you hit somebody with all three of the bursts, all three of the shots, you can one-shot somebody with 150 health. And so, having improved cooling and improved range as well, just the cherry on top. It improves the weapon even more. And so, personally, I quite like this weapon compared to other ones. Next, we've got the Heavy class. At the moment, I am using Supercharged Sentry, Improved Combat Shield, and Bodyguard. Going through it, Supercharged Sentry, a supercharged version of Sentry with a small explosive blast added to each shot. Your health regeneration starts as you deploy into Sentry mode. So essentially, when you're in Sentry mode, your health regeneration will always be going up as long as you're not taking damage, and Supercharged Sentry is amazing because if you're facing against an enemy villain or hero with this ability, with a star card, then they will still take damage from your shots because it'll bleed through their block. They'll be taking explosive damage. And I believe that if you shoot at their feet instead of at their lightsaber, then they won't even be able to block much of the shots that you're shooting, but they will still take that explosive damage. So that's a neat trick that you can try out. Next, Improved Combat Shield. I quite like the combination of using my Combat Shield with the primary weapon that I use most of the time, because I can just activate my shield, crouch down, and become just about invincible while my Combat Shield is active, and I can do enough damage to take anybody out. Using this star card and the increased health on my Combat Shield has saved my skin so many times, it's crazy. And your shield having 300 health is going to be able to keep you protected for a decent amount of time. Lastly, we have Bodyguard. Take reduced damage when at critical health. This again will essentially give you damage reduction when you're low health. 45%, that's almost 50%. That's almost a 50% damage reduction, which is crazy. And so you'll be able to survive a lot more often on low health with the star card equipped. And so it's pretty useful to have regardless of what situation you're in. For the weapon, I've tried them all out, but I have to say the T21 is by far the greatest. The damage alone is astounding. Normally, this weapon is a single shot. However, I do have a burst mode on, which allows 3 shots to be shot in succession all at once. And this can one-shot somebody with 200 health if you hit all headshots. It's crazy. After three bursts of this weapon, so 9 shots in all, if you hit all headshots on a hero, you've essentially killed them at that point. They're essentially defeated. Like, you've done so much damage to them that it's crazy. And I've done this multiple times to enemy heroes and villains. It's actually crazy. And so as long as your aim is all right, then you should be using this weapon because the damage output is just insane. Next, we've got the Officer. Now, I'd say a safe bet for the Officer is Resourceful. All your abilities have a sort of recharge time. I use this because I like to use my middle ability, which allows me to boost my teammates. And speaking of boosting my teammates, I currently have Improved Battle Command equipped, which gives my teammates extra health. And this star card is able to increase the radius of it so I can reach more people. Now, if I wanted to stick around heroes and recharge their abilities and make it faster, you can use Recharge Command. Recharge Command, when used with normal teammates who are just reinforcements, not heroes, if they're reinforcements or regular troopers, their abilities will get recharged instantly. It doesn't matter if somebody just shot a rocket or threw a grenade. If you use this ability right afterwards, they'll be able to do it again. You can throw another grenade or shoot another rocket. It's pretty crazy. With heroes, this won't instantly recharge their abilities. That would be extremely broken if that were the case. However, what it does do is increase their recharge time in general of their abilities for heroes. Except for, from what I know, Bosk's gas. His Dioxis gas grenades. That, for some reason, that ability will just instantly recharge if you use Recharge Command on it. And Bosk is able to constantly throw out his gas, and previous gases that he's thrown out, they won't disappear. So it can get pretty crazy. And it's used all the time in competitive matches, Recharge Command. But at the moment, I have Improved Battle Command. And at the moment, I have Bounty Hunter equipped, which is the 3rd star card. I have this equipped because typically I will start off games with the Officer class, and I'll have this star card equipped because I'm trying to get as many battle points as possible, as fast as possible, so that I can try and play as a hero or villain at the start of the game. Because I mean, those are the characters that I love to play as the most, so I try to get as many battle points as possible. So if you're trying to do the same thing, Bounty Hunter is a must. Now, in terms of the weapon, the Blurg is quite a good choice. If you are going to use it, I would highly recommend using, I think, Reduced Recoil and Exploding Shot is quite good too. However, in my opinion, the SE44C is by far the best weapon. If you have improved cooling and, most importantly, rapid fire equipped, this weapon will be able to fire so fast it's crazy. Because of it, you will need to be a bit closer to enemies. The range isn't as good, but if you're close enough to them and you hit every shot, you're going to be taking enemies out in less than half a second if you're hitting like some headshots. It's crazy. And so this weapon is amazing for the Officer, and I'd highly recommend using it. Alright, lastly for the base class, we've got the Specialist. I've done some tinkering around with the different star cards, but overall I think that Marksman, Survivalist, and Hardened Infiltration is the best combination. Marksman. When you defeat an enemy with a headshot, your weapon heat will reset, and your weapon will produce less heat until you overheat next time. Alright, so this star card is awesome because most of the time when I'm using the Specialist, the Specialist does have some like closer up primary weapons, but most of them are ranged weapons, and you're going for headshots and trying to defeat people with a headshot. And so Marksman is a great combination for that, because if you hit somebody in the head and finish them off in one shot, then you're going to be able to just move right on to the next person, because your heat will just be completely reset. Next, we've got Survivalist. Your health regeneration delay is shorter than normal. Reduced by 40%. That's a huge amount. And if you're sniping, then there's a good chance that people are going to be sniping back at you as well. So if you get hit once in the body and you get pretty dang low, you may have to duck out for a second. Having Survivalist on, you'll be able to regain your health a lot faster because of it, almost twice as fast. And so having this star card on, in my opinion, is really useful. Finally, one of my favorite star cards, Hardened Infiltration. An improved version of Infiltration where you gain incoming damage reduction to increase your survivability on the battlefront. So, Hardened Infiltration is awesome because it's paired with one of the best abilities in the game, which is essentially I don't want to call it a shotgun, it's more of like a burst shotgun, like a burst close range weapon, but it does insane damage. You can one-shot somebody with this ability if you hit them in the head, or two-shot them in the body for close enough. It's amazing. And you'll be able to gain a damage reduction while you're using it. So you'll be able to tank a lot of damage, and you'll be using this ability close up if people are too close to you. So this star card is a must, in my opinion. Now, for the weapon. Depending on the situation, it could change, but for range battles, the NT-242, this is going to be your go-to. This is the only weapon that one-shots somebody in the head, so it pairs very well with the Marksman star card, and so this weapon is awesome. Currently, I'm running dual zoom and improved cooling. Disruptor shot. This won't, if you have Disruptor Shot active, you're not going to be able to one-shot somebody in the head because it does reduce your damage. However, Disruptor Shot is great to use against certain troops like enemy tanks or enemy turrets that an officer has put down, or specifically droidicas. If you shoot a Disruptor Shot at a droidica shield, it will destroy it in one shot, I believe. So if there are a bunch of droidicas rushing your ship in Capital Supremacy and they're setting up their shields around them and nobody can damage them yet because they're shields, just equip Disruptor Shot. You shoot them once and their shield is gone, and then your team can target the droidicas. And so I see a lot of people playing as specialists just sit in the back room of their ship with this Disruptor Shot and just wait for droidicas to come and rush in, and they just shoot them with it, and it helps their team out a lot. And I've played against it, and it's really annoying. However, if you're going to be fighting a lot more close ranged, or if you're playing Blast or something, the A280 CFE is a great choice because it's like a burst option, and you need the burst mode equipped. But this is great because it does a lot of damage up close, and I've gone on some crazy kill streaks in like Blast game modes with this. But overall, in most scenarios, the NT-242 is going to be the weapon you're going to want to use. Alright, next, let's get over to the reinforcements. The Enforcer class. Enforcers are troops like Lone Commandos or Rookie Warriors, and overall, the best star cards for them, in my opinion, are Enforcer Training, Expert Weapons Handling, and Battle Hardened. Enforcer Training. Gain a small amount of health for each defeated enemy. This is amazing. Expert Weapons Handling. You're able to keep your middle ability active for longer. This is specifically good for the Clone Commando because your middle ability is the ability that allows you to regain health while you're doing damage to somebody. So every time you shoot somebody, you're going to gain a little bit of health for that. And so if you're able to use that ability 66% longer, holy crap, like that is crazy. So you're definitely going to want that star card equipped if you're using the Clone Commando. Some of the abilities for the Enforcers, or for the Enforced class, like depending on what era and what team you're playing on, their abilities do change a little bit. Overall though, these two are great options, along with Battle Hardened. Maximum health is increased, an extra 20 health, so you have even more health. So this is a health star card, amazing broken ability, or star card for an ability. So these three are great options in my opinion. Next, we've got the Aerial. I have a lot of time spent playing the Aerial. It's probably my favorite reinforcement class to play as, and the star cards that I'd recommend are Aerial Training, Battle Hardened, and Evasion. With Aerial Training, you're going to gain a small amount of health for each defeated enemy, along with, or similar to the Enforcer class. Every time you take someone out, you're going to get some health back. That can keep you alive in a bunch of different situations if you're facing multiple enemies, which you probably will be at one point or another if you're playing larger game modes like Capital Supremacy. So having the star card equipped is great. Next, we've got Battle Hardened. Just increases your maximum health by 20%, same as the Enforcer. Having that extra health is going to keep you alive in a lot of situations. It's just great to have. Lastly, I've got Evasion. You have +1 evade and faster evade recharge times as well. So now, instead of just dodging twice, you can dodge 3 times now. That's great. One of the Aerial's greatest assets is its mobility. And so if you're able to dodge 1 extra time, you're going to be even more mobile. All right, so it's just great to have in every scenario, essentially. And most people that I know that only play like the Aerial class or mainly play it, that they have this same star card setup here. All right, lastly, we've got Infiltrator. Now, most infiltrators, let's see, who do we have? We've got ARC Troopers, Commando Droids, and then I believe we've got ISB agents for the Empire as well. Those are the ones I can think of right now. But in terms of star cards, I have Evasion, Interrogation, and Stalker. So Evasion. You have +1 evade and a faster evade recharge time. Pretty similar to the Aerial class. Having that extra dodge is going to be great in a bunch of scenarios, especially for the Commando Droid, because their dodge is broken. You can move really far, really fast with it, and you can even pair it with using your I think it's called a Vibro Sword. There's like a little trick to allow you to dodge and then swing your sword and then dodge right afterwards, and you can do that over and over again, dodging and swinging with your sword, to allow you to move like 5 times faster than you normally would, and you can just do that across the map infinitely because you have an extra evasion. Next, Interrogation. Reveal nearby enemy locations by defeating an opponent using melee strikes. This is great for the Commando Droid again, because you're going to be using your Vibro Sword a lot. And finally, you've got Stalker. Regain health when defeating an enemy you have revealed with your scanning ability. So this is mainly good for the ARC Trooper. When you're scanning people, you should be able to, like, if you defeat them, then you'll be getting 55 health back, which is pretty large compared to other star cards. I'm pretty certain that the Commando Droid has the same ability or something similar, so that's going to be great for you. All right, that covers the reinforcements, though. Next, we've got some other classes, starting off with armor. These are the tanks. So I've seen some different opinions, but what I have equipped is repair systems, reinforced hull, and protected critical systems. Repair systems. Your auto repair works faster, 50% faster to be specific. You're going to be regaining health a lot faster now, twice as fast with this active. Next, we've got reinforced hull. It increases your total health by 20%. It's a bit of a no-brainer. I mean, having that extra health is going to keep you alive. You already do a lot of damage with your blasters, because, I mean, some abilities, like improved weapon systems, it increases the damage of some of your different weapons, but you're doing so much damage anyways that if you're going to be, like, if you need the star card, then I feel like you do enough damage, you should be hitting your shots anyways. And I feel like because of that, you know, considering how much damage you do in a tank anyways, you probably don't need that star card. So having health star cards, in my opinion, is a bit better. And so getting onto the last one, protected critical systems. On vehicles with weak spots, the weak spot bonus damage amount is reduced. On smaller vehicles, this damage reduction applies to the entire vehicle. So, tanks have weak spots. Specifically, if you shoot them in the back, I believe that instead of like a white hit marker, it'll be yellow or something like that, and it essentially tells you that you're doing twice as much damage. This gives you a massive health reduction against, damage reduction against that, so it's great to have in trooper modes, which is what you're going to be playing tanks in anyway, so this is a pretty dang useful card to have. Alright, that covers armor. Next we're going to head to speeder. I have increased weapon cooling, speeder systems upgrade, and reinforced hull. Okay, so cooling systems, it increases weapon cooling. So the cooling rate is going to increase by 100%, which is pretty crazy. So you'll be able to, I believe, like cool your weapons a lot faster. I think that's how that works. And so that's awesome to have regardless of what situation you're in. Next, we've got speeder systems upgrade. Speeder systems upgrade increases damage of laser barrage and weapon overcharge. I know for a fact, like this little speeders that you can ride on, kind of like the one in this star card here, its melee ability, it does a lot of damage anyways, and increasing it by 40%, it's awesome for you, because it's kind of hard to be accurate with these speeders, and so you're going to be doing a lot of like area damage around them. So having the star card is going to be awesome for you, because you can't be as accurate as if you're in a tank or something. Next, we've got reinforced hull. Increased total health by 20%. Again, kind of a no-brainer. It's great for your health. You'll be able to survive just a bit longer, and it can save your skin in a lot of different situations. Alright, next we've got artillery. I don't think there are any star cards to actually use here. Can't really affect that. I think that artillery are kind of like the AT-ATs or the big ship on Scarif. Actually, I think this is actually the ship that is on Yavin 4 that you can play in. But there are no star cards for that, so we're going to skip over that. But the final three that I have here are Starfighters. I have played a little bit of Starfighter Assault, and I've looked up some decent setups for star cards with them. For the regular fighter, I have Reinforced Hull, Tuned Lasers, and Repair Systems. Reinforced Hull, it increases the total health of the Starfighter by 20%. This is great because it's going to allow you to survive just a bit longer and in more situations. Tuned Lasers increases primary weapon damage by 10%. This is great. Overall, the fighter is kind of like a well-balanced StarCraft compared to other StarCrafts, and so having these kinds of star cards kind of fit it well. Next, we've got Repair Systems. Repair Systems, it reduces the delay before health regeneration begins. This is also great for survivability, and it will allow you to dip out of fighting, regain your health a lot quicker, and then get right back into the action. Alright, second to last, we've got the Interceptor. I haven't played with the Interceptor as much, but from my experience, I do know that it's a low health StarCraft, but with greater speed and handling, and it can do a lot of damage. So, because of that, the star cards that I've equipped are Advanced Capacitors, which improves the primary weapon resistance to overheating, so you can fire for longer without having to recharge. Then we've got Fire Control Cycler, increases primary weapon fire rate. You can fire your weapons even faster. And then finally, Tuned Lasers, increases primary weapon damage, so you do even more damage. Your StarCraft already has great speed, great handling, great turning, so I think having those star cards fits it quite well. Alright, lastly, we've got the bomber. Alright, get into these quickly. We've got reinforced hull, advanced capacitors, and tuned lasers. Tuned lasers and advanced capacitors, same thing as with the, what do you call it? The interceptor. Does the same thing. The only other star card is reinforced hull. The bomber has more health than the other starfighters. And reinforced hull is going to give it 20% more health on top of that. And so having this star card is going to be a great asset to you. But that is going to conclude this video on me covering all of these different classes here. Of course, thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the description below if you have any disagreements or if you think different star cards would work better with certain classes. Please let me know. I'd definitely love to hear about it in the description, because this video is meant to help newer players. And so if you think that something would be better for them, then please say something in the description. We can talk about it, and we can help new players. Alright, well, of course, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye now.